For the past couple of weeks, the main hot controversy that's hit social media streets has belonged to two C's, Cardi and Charlie. Cardi B's new album, new tour, and new pregnancy. Social media has been in shambles. And I've done a pretty good job with holding my opinions on these two topics to myself until now. So without further ado, Cardi and Charlie. Okay, no, but can we talk about this one, y'all?
Oh, can we talk? Can we talk about it? Can we talk? Can we talk about it? Can we talk? Can we talk about it? Can we talk? Can we talk about it?
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cindy Noir, and welcome to the season 2 premiere of my show, The Cindy Noir Show. I am so excited to have you all here to witness my new and improved podcast show. In my time away, I have taken a step back and really just gotten down to the nitty-gritty of figuring out what I can do to improve my podcast show, not only for me recording the show, but for you all who are consuming it. And I can't lie, what I have come up with to me is definitely giving 5, 6, 7. Like I think I ate that. So before I hop into today's topic, I do want to go over the way that my show is going to run henceforthward. So a few housekeeping things. First housekeeping thing is the schedule of my podcast. Moving forward, this is how the schedule of my podcast will unfold. Every month there will be 3 new episodes, with 1 episode being posted per week with an off week at the end of the month, giving me time to batch create content for the upcoming month. The second housekeeping thing is the order and the content of each episode that I upload each month. These 3 episodes will follow the order of the 3 C's in my new logo. So on the first week of every month, you will get the controversy, what is happening and juicy gossip on social media and celebridom on TV, you name it, I'm discussing it. All things gossip and juice, okay? The second week of the month will be about culture, as in TV show and movie reviews. So on the second week of every month, look for me to be discussing and breaking down my thoughts and opinions on various TV show series and movies. And the last C, Celf? No, it is Celf. For the third week of the month, I'm discussing all things self-related, self-love, self-preservation, self-perseverance, etc., etc. If it is about my journey and the lessons I've learned and things of that nature, it'll be discussed on the third week of the month. And as I said before, the fourth week is an off week, so no episodes. That'll be for me to batch create the episodes getting ready for the upcoming month. This schedule makes so much sense for my ADHD brain, and it helps me to better categorize the content that I'm creating and give you all a better chance to understand what you want to tune into and when. Now, hopefully you tune in all month, but in case you don't want to, you now have a certain schedule to follow that makes sense for you too. Third podcast thing is, from now on, if you're watching this podcast from YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, moving forward, you will only receive what I call the highlight podcast episode, meaning you will only get about 15 to 20 minutes of the highlighted and most important parts of my podcast episodes. And that is because, fourth housekeeping thing, I have now moved my podcast over to Patreon. And I now have a Patreon community, and they are called the Can We Talk Crew. And they are the ones who will now receive the full, unfiltered episodes of my podcast. Those who join my Patreon community will not only receive the full episodes of my podcast moving forward, but for $10 a month, you will also receive my podcast episodes 1 to 2 days early. You also get access to vote for what topics you want me to discuss on the next episodes. You also get the ability to go live with me and talk with me in real time about these podcast topics. You get live Q&A sessions with me. And on the off week that I am not posting a podcast episode, those a part of the Can We Talk crew will be getting exclusive content, including bloopers and extra little small episodes as well, and more. So if you find that you're not a fan of only getting just the overall picture of my podcast and you want more, then you know what to do. Go ahead and join the Can We Talk crew. Now that we have gotten all the housekeeping things out the way, let's go ahead and get into the topics for today, shall we? Cardi B has recently dropped her sophomore album, Am I the Drama, on top of announcing not only a tour, but also a pregnancy with her new beau, Stefan Diggs, who she's only known for 1 year, while still being legally married to her husband Offset, and also after recently celebrating the first birthday of her youngest child. In response to this fiasco, Crystal of The Read shared her passionate thoughts and opinions on Cardi B's behavior, claiming that her pregnancy right now is not in good timing and a poor choice, not just for Cardi B's career, but also for the children. Crystal's read on The Read has caused quite a social media stir, and between Cardi B shenanigans and Crystal's read, social media is in disarray. You cannot get upset at people for forming opinions and having commentary on what has been brought to the public, okay? Cardi B was not discussing her pregnancy in private, and that private conversation was then leaked. Cardi B did a whole interview with Gayle King on TV. Cardi B is avidly on social media. She has taken us along for the ride with her and Stefan Diggs. We have been front row and center to her business. So people having opinions about her business, well, whoop-de-doo. The people who are going so hard to defend Cardi B now, y'all were also the same people who were down Halle Bailey's neck, down Sky Jackson's neck, down Flo Millie's neck, down Keke Palmer's neck, and down so many other black women's neck for having one child or their first child with somebody out of wedlock. But now that it's Cardi B, we should all mind our business. If a fat, dark-skinned black woman hopped on TikTok and said, story time of how I am not divorced from my husband yet, and celebrated our youngest child's first birthday while being pregnant with my boyfriend's baby, and he got ghetto twins and another baby on the way allegedly, y'all would be down that girl's throat from Monday to Sunday. Let's go ahead and hop into Crystal's read on The Read. Would I go as far as to call Cardi B a dumb bitch? No, personally I would not. People also took issue with Crystal talking about Cardi B potentially dying on the surgery table. And while I get that that was a pretty harsh thing to say, Crystal wasn't the first one to say it. Cardi B was. Cardi B was the one that told Bia, I would rather die on the surgery table than to look like you. I think that she said that as a nod to what Cardi herself said, not so much that she's wishing that on her. The last thing that I found to be wrong personally was her comment of, you're not some girl in the Bronx who doesn't have anything better to do. That was like, ooh. Damn, girl. I did think that stray didn't necessarily have to happen to get the point across. But, you know, it's the podcast is called The Read. Once you look past the delivery and the quote-unquote crassness of said delivery, Crystal was not wrong. In fact, she made a lot of great points. With that being said, I personally feel that Cardi's pregnancy right now is not the right time. Despite her being rich, despite her being able to afford care, I just don't think that from the perspective of the business and her children, her being pregnant with, and especially by who she's pregnant by, is not the right move. Her saying that she was afraid to tell her parents, combined with how silly she's moved with this pregnancy, has let me know that Cardi got some feelings about this pregnancy that she didn't have the last time. All of this to me indicates some level of shame that she has in this pregnancy. And this is not me saying that girlie should be ashamed of her pregnancy the entire time, but this is me saying that I noticed the difference in between how she has handled her pregnancies in the past versus this one. Now, from the business standpoint, I completely agree with Crystal. The last time you announced a tour, you were pregnant and you canceled the tour just to come back and announce another tour pregnant. A lot of people have given the critique that her popping up pregnant in the same predicament that she was pregnant in before shows no real evolution or growth from her as a person. And here's the thing. Cardi B isn't 22. Cardi B isn't 25. Girlie is 33. She is at the age where there should be growth and evolution in her behavior and her choices, and there is not. Why are we giving her so much more grace than we gave the girls, the young women who actually deserve grace? This is Cardi's 4th pregnancy. So you mean to tell me that she gonna have this baby, recover in them 6 weeks, potentially get surgery, recover enough for that too, and be able to train for a tour? Mind you, she's never been on a tour before. There are only 2 real outcomes. Either the tour is going to get canceled again, which is going to hurt her brand severely, or the tour will go on and people are going to pay for tickets, flight, and hotel stay for a concert that is half-assed at best. Watching a postpartum mother do her best to push through a show. Now, don't get me wrong. I am all for women not letting pregnancy hold them back. But at what point do we draw the line between women not allowing pregnancy to hold them back and women allowing their body the space and time it needs to heal properly after pregnancy? And I get it. We can have these opinions and not approve of the pregnancy all damn day, but the reality is she's pregnant. I get that. I'm not here wanting Cardi B to be ashamed and hate the child and hate being pregnant the entire time. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, at what point do we call out the behavior that we're seeing that is just not making sense? Which leads me to my next point, which is the perspective of the children. So what? Cardi can hire nannies and can hire homeschool teachers. Whoop-de-doo. That doesn't make the behavior okay. Being able to hire people to help raise these kids does not negate the chaos these kids are being raised in. And now, while I do feel bad for all the kids, I especially feel bad for the kids she's currently pregnant with, because this baby is being born into chaos. This child was conceived between 2 people who were meant to be a fun time, not a long time. The father has ghetto twins, allegedly has a baby on the way along with this baby. And when this child enters the earth, not only will this child have to deal with that chaos, but also the fact that this child is on borrowed time with their mama, because Cardi has only but so much time to enjoy this newborn before she has to go get ready for a tour while in the middle of a new album rollout. And I've seen a lot of people try to be devil's advocate and say plenty of mothers go back to work to the 9 to 5. And that irks me, because y'all are comparing apples to oranges. First of all, we're talking about a tour, not a 9 to 5, okay? Your 9 to 5 ends at 5. You're going home to your child. We are talking about multiple day stints that she will not be home for a newborn. Cardi B will be away for days, weeks, if not months at a time. Is the child going on tour with her? I doubt it. This baby did not ask to be here. And for it to be born into such a chaotic environment, to a man who has chaos of his own, to a mother who's got other kids to worry about, a divorce to worry about, her boyfriend to worry about, and a tour and album rollout. That's a lot to be born into. And it really makes me feel for the baby, even despite the money. That's not enough. And the fact that so many of y'all are fixated on the money part really bothers me, because that's not the end all be all. If you want to be the drama for the sake of an album release, sure, cool, do that. But your babies and your kids deserve peace. Now, let's talk about the whole marriage, Offset, boyfriend, Stefan thing, okay? I get it. Divorces can take a very long time. And Offset clearly has not waited in moving on his damn self. So I'm not mad at Cardi B for moving on herself. Girl, get your life. I feel like the issue was not in Cardi B moving on and having her own fun. The issue is in who she moved on with and the carelessness in the fun she was having. Cardi girl, we have watched you crash out on social media over Offset. Talk about how he's had you depressed, laid up in bed. How we watched you cry on your Instagram lives about how wrong he's done you. We have seen a fraction of what he has put you through, all for you to end up with an alleged Offset squared? Because from what people are saying, Stefan is worse. Like, damn, sir, you didn't want to have fun with somebody who was a little bit safer to have fun with. You left Offset to then get pregnant by a dude that's sitting on 2 rape allegations and got him around your kids. Even from the standpoint of your brand, you have seen what happens when you attach a man to your brand that does not have the best intentions for you. They bring your brand down. Because what if those rape allegations are true? Now the father of your youngest child is a certified rapist. How is that going to impact your brand? It really bothers me how quickly women lose sight of their worth when a man is in the line of vision. I don't like it. So let's make like a burrito and wrap it all up. In conclusion, do we as a people want community, or do we just want yes men? Do we want a village of people who never hold us accountable? Or do we want a village of enablers? Do we actually want better for children? Or do we want to not be challenged to be better? While yes, these men need to be called out for being ain't shit men and fathers, we also need to be able to call women out on their choice in these ain't shit men. Because the reality is, you can't be an ain't shit dad if no one is letting you get them pregnant. It takes 2 to tango. We can talk about the men all damn day, but at the end of the day, you had to let him in for you to be his child's mother. And that's not misogyny. That is called accountability. You mean to tell me that all Stefan had to say was, let me heal you, and your legs went east-west? That's all it took? Yeah, at 33, yeah, conversations need to be had. And I feel like, given our current political climate, it is important for women to remember the power and the value and worth of our womb. No one's saying you shouldn't be throwing it back. Have your fun, bust it wide for Clyde, throw it back for Jack, but be smart about it and be intentional about it. But I'm just not a fan of people not wanting to get to the nitty-gritty and the root of these issues out of, it's her body, her choice, it's her womb, not mine, it's her kids, not mine, because these kids enter society. These kids become friends, peers, partners, teachers, parents. So yeah, it's a conversation that needs to be had. With that being said, this concludes my thoughts on the topics of today's episode. And now it's your turn. What are your thoughts on the Charlie Kirk necking? And how do you feel about the memorial service as well as his wife? And as far as Cardi B, shall unload the clip in that comment section and let me know how you feel about it all. How about that? But that's all I have for this week. And until next week, y'all be blessed and bless up. Bye.